very difficult to ensure that you are successfully posting a video for a weekly manga every single week. I try my best to get my video out every Monday, but as you will see, it's a little late into Saturday, way after that, so no clever intro this time. We're just going to go straight into it. Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios, once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1174, The Strongest Thing in the World. The artwork this week is another fan request. It is the wonderful, powerful Goldie Roger. He has tamed a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's very cool. That's pretty much it. It's just, nice, cool artwork as usual. If I sound a little off or if I sort of lose my train of thought, I have a cold. A life update for me. I went to Vegas for the One Piece card game major tournament, the Nationals. Then after that, Red Bull is having these crazy events right now for prizes and fabulous trips to Milwaukee and things like that. So I went to one of those. I was up till I didn't get home that Thursday night into 4 a.m. the Friday morning. So it was, it's been a long week for me. Fortunately, I believe there's no new chapter next week, so I'll be able to recover and I'll be able to give that all back to you in any time. Anyways, to the actual chapter itself. So, it is the families of the children. They are trying to save the kids. They're beating on the giant arrow. They're trying to smash it open. They're trying to break it, but as we know, Gunko's power is quite powerful, actually. The more I think about it, usually when you're fighting a Paramecia class Devil Fruit user, there's usually some kind of weakness to them. For example, Mr. 3, his wax was so strong, it was like iron. But as soon as you applied heat to it, it weakened back down to its waxy form. This is kind of a similar case for a lot of other Paramecias. There's always some kind of weakness to them, some kind of exploit. Another good example is Perona. Her Paramecia Devil Fruit is the hollow fruit. She makes ghosts, and the ghosts can give you depression. However, if you are already the world's biggest pessimist like Usopp, you're immune to them. In fact, even the opposite. You're the one giving the ghosts the sadness. There always seems to be a way out, and as it stands right now, we don't know Gunko's way out. Aside from the mild disruption she got from Brook, it seems pretty ironclad, and that can't be the case, can it? That the only way out is by the will of the user? Regardless, the children are stuck, the parents can't move them, and we see Oimo try to grab his grandson only to get stabbed by the thorns, and the kids keep marching. However, the kids are not marching towards a boat anymore. That's gone. The giant fake Nika slammed into it, causing a giant hole in the clouds, and that boat's gone. And Sommers is on his little thorn snake dragon thing, and he's just kind of looking, and he's like, okay, let's stay calm, Sommers. You are the greatest and smartest person in the world. I gotta hype myself up because nobody else is going to. Let's see. Kids are falling. The boat's gone. Honestly, now that I think about it, this isn't my fault. This could never be my fault. I am Sommers. I can't do anything wrong. So this is clearly the Great One's fault. This is Eam's fault. Yeah, I mean, he's here on the island, so currently possessing Gunko's body. So, if anything messed up here, if I'm perfect, I'm Sommers, I'm very perfect. If I'm perfect, and the Great One Emu is even perfecter than I am, then surely, if I make a mistake, and he can't correct it, then it's clearly his fault. I can't be held accountable for this. So let's reassess the situation here that is not my fault. Kids keep walking. Their parents are trying desperately to hug them. And now the kids are just going to walk off a cliff because Eam isn't using Gunko's power to change the arrow. So this is awesome. And he just has this stupid look on his face. He is so happy that all these parents are going to just watch their kids walk off cliffs. Oda, no amount of flashback is going to make me like this guy. This is awful. It's one of those, you love how well hateable this character is. I'm sorry, if they showed me like Sommers, Charlos, and Spandam, and they said, okay, one of them you have to forgive one of them, I'd just be like, Charlos. I think Charlos. Out of those three choices, I feel like I would pick Charlos, and I'll tell you why. Charlos just doesn't know what he's doing at all. Whether it's right or wrong, he is literally just so incapable of thought that you kind of I'm not saying it excuses his actions, but you understand why he is incapable of any other actions. Spandam, totally selfish guy, totally knows what he's doing is wrong, and knows that if he, does things the wrong way enough times, he will get a promotion or something. And then Sommers, I mean, come on, you just saw him. He blamed Emu for his mistake. Emu, the alleged god of the celestial dragons, this dude literally blamed God. So, yeah, no, Sommers is terrible. So, as he is watching this happen, he's like, okay, I gotta improvise. Takes the snail phone and he goes, attention, children and PTA members. There's been a change in process. Instead of what's gonna happen, getting on the boat, because the boat's gone, not my fault, but the boat's gone, and the children are just gonna fall to their doom. So, that's it. That's the change of plan. Sommers out. And as he's doing this, Killingham is like, it took us so long. Because, Killingham's hearing this broadcast as well. He's like, it took us so long to get those kids. You're just going to... Fine. Whatever. He starts working on Nightmare Creatures. So, you can clearly tell... Now, remember, I've been using this example that the three of them are like the perfect group project. Well, now you're starting to see the part where the other two members of the group project are actually staying up late, doing the homework, doing the research. And Sommers, while, he had enough money to buy, the notebooks and the pencils and any of the material the other two need, he actually didn't put in a ton of work, and he's just planning on putting his name on it at the end. So, yeah, he's got the thorns. Yeah, that's a good defense, but we're starting to see the cracks in their teamwork here. So as the children are marching towards their doom, Colin starts thinking about his mom. Starts thinking about, the things he's done, wrong, the fact that his own mother can't come and grab him because he's covered in thorns. And he thinks about a time when he was little, he's 20. So that's the weird thing about giants. Even though he's 20, he's still effectively like a 7-year-old. But he thinks about a time in the past where he beat up another kid, won a duel, and took the kid's toy. And he goes home and he shows off this toy to his mom, and his mom tells him that the sun god is watching, and if you're going to be a bad little boy, the sun god is going to punish you. And he says, well, hang on, I won this in a duel, therefore it's fine. And his mom tells him, just because you're stronger doesn't mean you can just take what you want. In fact, the opposite. You should be looking out for those weaker than you. So, go give that toy back. And the other little kids think about times where they refused to eat their vegetables, or when they, called out their family members, like Oimo's grandson called him out for being a pirate and is like, I hate you, Grandpa, you're a disgusting pirate. And Rhodes' little brother thinks about how he told him to stay away from the school because you're embarrassing, you're a huge nerd, I don't like you. And all these kids are thinking about how they've mistreated their parents, and they start to cry, as children do. They apologize for being bad, and they're sorry, and they don't want to fall off a cliff to their doom. And it is at that moment that Ripley grabs Colin. Now, what's interesting to me is we saw Saul stop the children, and then they caused them to bump into each other. I'm starting to wonder if maybe if Saul had just stood there long enough, the kids would have just kept walking regardless of him. And maybe he backed off because of that. But whatever the reason, Ripley comes, she hugs Colin, and Colin is still moving. I don't know if the arrow is just stronger at this point. Oh, actually, that might be it. The arrow might be stronger because Eam is powering up Gunko. Because Eam wasn't powering up Gunko at the time Saul was trying to stop the kids. So that might be the reason. Regardless, though, Ripley is hugging Colin, and she is being moved to go off the cliff as well. And Colin tells her to let go. She's going to fall too. And she just says, I'm not going to let you die alone. And all the other family members, they feel the same way. They all hug their little ones. The one girl that has no parents, she's the one with the ancient giant horns. She's just looking at all the other kids hugging their loved ones. And she's like, man, it must be great to have family to hug you in your last moments. And that's when the teacher shows up, because she had a little flashback of being mean to the teacher, telling her, like, you're not my real mom. And her teacher, Miss Ange, is like, I could be like a mother to you, if you want that. And then Miss Ange comes and she hugs her and they're all crying. It's very rare for the manga to get me to tear up. Usually I see a sad point in the manga and I think, man, I can't wait for this to get an anime episode so I can cry. That happened to me a few times. But this one legitimately got me. It hit me in the family heartstrings. And then that's it. The children fall. Their parents with them. Or parental figures. But they do not crash into the underworld below. No. They bounce on something soft. And Ripley's like, what just happened? And Colin goes, I don't know. We were saved by this giant soft thing. And we hear a voice call out, ha ha, you are on my gum flour belly. Or gum like rice belly or something. Like giant rice cake. And he's like, okay, haha, I'm really glad that worked. This was really cool. Get off me. You're all poking me. Because they're all still spiky. He's like, okay, so when you guys, it's a good thing we were passing by. This is a very fortunate event, as we see Luffy, talking. And then we see Loki's eye. Or at least I assume it's Loki, unless someone else showed up in all this. But Loki's eye kind of glares at Luffy and he says, this is not a fortunate thing. I am not a fortunate thing. I am the god of destruction. As soon as you brats get to the surface with us, you're hopping off. Because I'm not a good thing. I am a bad thing. This denial of being a good person is kind of adorable the more powerful we see Loki become. But Luffy's laughing along with this. And meanwhile, Sommers, being up there, he watches the children. He's like, oh, the sounds of their screams as they fall to the ground. Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be a heart-shattering kaboom. Why is it snowing? And it starts to snow. And lightning starts to come out of the snow. I don't know if you're familiar with snowstorms. I am from the Midwest. Snowstorms are kind of a thing here. I'm sure most people in the nation are familiar with rainstorms, even those in Nevada. I saw it rain when I was in Las Vegas for a little bit. Everyone's familiar with rain, and I'm sure everyone's familiar with lightning. But snow and lightning don't usually go together. So when snow falls and lightning falls, we cut to Jarl as this is happening, and he says, on a exceedingly rare day, when snow and lightning hail from the sky, the drums of liberation will sound, and the sun god will appear. And we cut back to Luffy laughing his butt off as he tells Loki, I'm still trying to get over the fact of how big you are. As Loki emerges from the underworld in his dragon form. So it turns out he was a dragon, big dragon form. Loki the dragon coming out of the underworld. Luffy barely even a thing on his head. His little squirrel buddy Ragnar cheering as well, because they have come and they're going to mess things up. So the god of liberation, the sun god Nika Luffy, and the god of destruction, the sun god Loki, we'll just call him for now, have emerged, and they are going to wipe out everything. I am very confident that this fight is not going to be it's not going to be a long one. It is going to be just a slugfest as Loki lets out whatever frozen breath attack that he has. I'm going to guess he's some kind of ice dragon. Part of me is a little disappointed that he's just a big black dragon. I was kind of hoping maybe a little more detail. Maybe Oda's giving us just one more silhouette before we see what it truly looks like. But I kind of wanted a little more detail. It's still terrifying. It's still amazing. This is still Loki's dragon. So, yeah, we're back to fantasy in my fantasy pirate adventure. Take that, Egghead Island enjoyers. No more sci-fi here. We got dragons again. So, yeah, that's it. Loki's a dragon. Good chapter. Martyrs of Love. It was so heartwarming to see all those family members and their little kids, and nothing was gonna happen. We knew the kids weren't gonna suffer. Oda doesn't destroy children. He destroys their families in flashbacks, but he doesn't actually destroy children. So, yeah, sorry for the late chapter. Those of you who watch me loyally, I appreciate your loyal viewership. Please let me know in the comments below. Were you expecting a dragon? Were you hoping for Fenrir or some other kind of mythological Norse creature? Dragon is cool. I know there is a dragon in Norse mythology. I will have to do a little more research there. But yeah, this was a good chapter. Apparently, there's no new chapter next week, so I didn't even miss out on my usual upload. I just kind of staggered it backwards a bit. So, thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.